Okay, so I liked this one. It had a lot of elements in it that I wasn't expecting necessarily. One of them was how political it was. And I mean, I guess that was to be expected, honestly, because of the main subject matter, which is homosexuality, which has been both a political, moral, ethical issue since the beginning of time. But I wasn't expecting there to be so much political material and religious material within this play. So that was an interesting element that I wasn't expecting. So yeah, in saying that, you can absolutely see the history that this is coming out of. We have these two bickering sides of the quote unquote straight Republican and the more spiritual democratic gay population, which I think is both kind of a part of the history of the time period in which this play was written, and also representative of Kushner himself. So yeah, yeah. So you can absolutely see, you know, elements of Tennessee Williams and Brecht within this play. At first, I didn't really see that, or at least I could absolutely see the Brechtian influences in Angels in America, but even though it's in the title, I couldn't really immediately before I read it anyway, before I actually read the text and not just the summary on Wikipedia. Um, I didn't really see the connection between Tennessee Williams and this play, but when you break it down, this is an American play. This is a America play because this is arising right out of the Reagan era when homosexuality was a hot topic, and so yeah, this is absolutely an America play. Um, and you look at Streetcar Named Desire, the Tennessee Williams play that we read, and there was the subject of homosexuality in it too. So um, that's the connection I made, at least. As far as Brechtian influences go, oh my lord. Um, he seems very inspired by Brecht. In the structure of the play, in the setting of the play. He even states in oh my god, I'm so sorry. I just ripped out one of my textbook pages. Okay, it's fine. Yeah, so he's he says a note about the staging. The play benefits from a pared down style of presentation with minimal scenery and scene shifts done rapidly. No blackouts, he says with an exclamation point. And then he says at the end, it's okay if the wires show. And maybe it's good that they do, but the magic should be, at the same time, thoroughly amazing. Yeah, so I think he was taking a page out of Brecht's book. I'm dead. So yeah, you can absolutely see the Brechtian influences. I think that was a little bit easier for me to see than the Tennessee Williams. I had to dig a little deeper for that one. So yeah, uh, as stated before, because this was in the midst of the AIDS epidemic and the era of Reagan and things like that, you can tell that this is coming out of the 1980s, early 1990s America. Um, so yeah. So yeah, additionally, this play is absolutely standing on the shoulders of Williams and Brecht. I guess to give some examples, um, there's these dreamlike sequences where we know we're in a play, and additionally, there's these moments of theatricality, and the split scenes additionally are also pretty are used pretty heavily and emphasize that feeling of we are watching a play, but it is still meaningful. It is still captivating. Um, So what makes this a piece to study? Well, the past couple plays, we've been exploring this idea of discrimination. With Streetcar Named Desire, it was this discrimination against the female power and like this idea of female hysteria. And then we move on to Raisin in the Sun, which is a discrimination against race, um, and uh, the impoverished. I don't know, people in poverty. And then we come to this one, which is several different things. It is discriminating against political parties and religious parties and homosexuality. So yeah, I think that makes this a piece that ties into the others that we've already studied thus far. Um, and additionally, it does arise from the period because these were very relevant issues at the time. So yes. I'm trying to keep this short because my internet sucks. So language. Language is a really interesting element used in this play. Yeah, there's a lot more language than I thought there was going to be. It's okay. Yeah. So I've noticed that I discussed briefly before that there's these two different sides. There's these Mormon rigid, you know, straight people. Not all of them are straight. Closeted people. And then you have the more spiritual, lackadaisical kind of gay population that we see that are present. So like Roy, for example, when he speaks, he drives me crazy. Oh my gosh, like reading it, he's very choppy, he's very direct. He's gonna say what he wants, and if you can't hear him, that's fine. He's just gonna keep talking. And then you have Pryor, who kind of has this more elegant. It's not elegant. But there is a difference between the two, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Additionally, there are different. I guess that would be like the type of nuances in language, and then there's also just different languages. I think Pryor speaks in French at one point. Um, and additionally, yeah, shut the door, my bad. Yeah, so he speaks in French at one point, and then there is also Yiddish in this text as well. So that's very interesting. I think it further kind of makes a difference between each of the characters. So yeah. Um, Split scenes, I think they are used to emphasize that Brechtian kind of element in it. Um, Absolutely. And then the last question, I love it. How about that angel? Oh my god. Okay, so I really want to talk about this for a hot second. Um, okay, so there was an element of this play that I have not seen before in a play. Which is the very direct kind of talking about sexuality. And obviously it is, in what other play would that kind of discussion be best in? But so Kushner writes, he is washed over by an intense sexual feeling whenever this is right before the angel descends. So when I first read that, I was like, boy, what? Hold up, wait a minute. And now that I've like thought about it more, I've been at different churches, willingly and unwillingly, where there has been people so overcome by feelings of spirituality and connectedness with their respective deity that it's like a sensual experience. And so after like looking at that and thinking about it more, it's like, okay, I guess that actually doesn't make that, it's not that crazy. Um, and in addition, adding that kind of phrasing in ties all of these ideas of sexuality together. So I thought that was really interesting and different. Um, but yeah, but that angel, my lord, there's several moments in the past couple plays where I've had my breath taken away. Raisin in the Sun whenever Mama cracks Benny across the face. And in this one, it's absolutely the angel's descent. Just the rich text that he describes it with. But yeah, so the angel I think is representative. It says in the text as well is representative of change and of progress. And I think I like that he depicted the angel not necessarily as being this just amazing, positive, lovely being. It's scary. It's terrifying because I think at this point in time, there was a lot of progress being made. 1969, the gay pride movement began. And so in this time period, there was a lot of changing taking place, a lot of progress happening. And that was utterly terrifying to some people and absolutely a blessing to other people. So I think, the angel in this context is absolutely representative, at least what I gathered from the text and from my own interpretation, is representative of progress and in that looking back at history and taking it with you. So yeah. One more thing I want to talk about is this one really beautiful moment in the play where I started thinking. So I don't know if anyone else has heard the song "Who Wants to Live Forever" by Freddie Mercury. It was one of the last songs he sang. And whenever Pryor is sitting in front of the vanity and putting on makeup and he slashes his throat with the lipstick, that was a beautiful moment. Because there's this theme of progression and time in this play, and Pryor is one of the people that doesn't have a whole lot of time. His time is limited, and so that was one moment where I think there was this beautiful kind of vulnerability where he's gonna put on a pretty face. He's gonna look the disease in the face and make it pretty, but then, you know what? It's not pretty. He like smushes the makeup and everything, and there's this beautiful vulnerability in that moment and in the scene immediately following that in the dreamlike sequence between Harper and him. So yeah, all in all, I really liked this play. I thought it was very interesting, and I'm excited for the next one.